Hey guys, and welcome to part 50 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we did the rematches with the Elite Four, so now all we have to do is the champion battle. Yeah, taking on the champion again. Really, we should be fighting ourselves, because we already did this, and we are the champion. You know, you beat the champion to become the champion, but you know, whatever. I guess when we beat Lance the first time, we were like, you know what dude, you can be the champion, because it means more to you. And as a big shot Elite Four guy, trainer extraordinaire, I don't need such titles like champion. I'm gonna go and, you know, look at me elves for the rest of my life, or whatever Ethan decides to do. I thought your character name is Ethan, I didn't know that. So anyway, so at the beginning here I didn't speed it up, you know, straight away, because I kind of wanted to play the music a bit, because this music is pretty awesome, but again I did have to speed it up, because if you remember, the part where I took on the champion the first time was like, I think 34 minutes long, so there's no way I'm going to do that again. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I'll be honest, this battle took about the same time. I think this battle was slightly quicker than the original first time. So straight away going into the battle, you have to be aware that Lance's Pokemon, there's a big jump in levels between Karen, I think is the dark lady, and yeah, there is a big jump in levels. Most of his Pokemon are in the 70s, not all of them, but most of these Pokemon are high 60s, you know, in the 70s. So yeah, if you just managed to get through the Elite Four, if you struggled through to do it, then you kind of don't, you know, you're kind of screwing yourself there. So this is this Salamence, which this is the Pokemon that gave me the most trouble, or I definitely spent the most time on, and it's his very first Pokemon. And the problem is that it knows rest, so whenever I lowered its health, it would just use rest and heal itself. Add that to the fact that it has a berry that can heal it complete, or it restores its status, so when it's asleep then it kind of, the berry heals itself. So yeah, I kind of got stuck on that Pokemon for a while, but then he eventually switched out to Gyarados, which of course I'm just going to use, the Fluff and Thunderbolt, because Gyarados is water flying type, so 4-time effective. It's not rocket science how to kill a Gyarados, so there was no way it was going to live past that. The only thing that can really mess you up with that Gyarados is if it keeps using Dragon Dance, then that could cause you a lot of problems. So now he's going to switch into his Garchomp, which is weird. He doesn't switch straight back into his Salamence, which I would kind of expect. So now he goes into his Garchomp, which I was like, how am I going to do this? So my plan was to use a Max Elixir, because the reason why I wanted Mega Dude leveled up is because I taught it Ice Beam. Now Ice Beam is a TM that we got in the Seafoam Islands, and I was like, if I'm going to have to take on the Dragon Master again, or Lance, as his friends call him. Maybe his friends call him Dragon Master, I don't know. Maybe Incest, maybe he's that guy. I need an Ice type move, so Mega Dude was the only one that could learn it, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it was the most obvious choice. So now that I'm going up against these Dragon types, I now have a move that's super effective against it. Because I also have the TM for Dragon Claw, but I couldn't teach it to any of my Pokemon, so that was kind of a bit useless. So now, going up against these things, it's just right. Mega Dude, Ice Beam. And even though Ice Beam doesn't kill it in one or anything like that, it still does a decent amount of damage. Luckily for me, his team is now being reworked, so he only has one Dragonite, which is so much nicer, and I think it's the reason why I had a lot more nicer time fighting Lance this time. So my plan for this is that I just kept using Ice Beam against this Dragonite. Honestly, this Dragonite was, pretty easy to take down, because even though it's level 75 and his highest level Pokemon, it kind of sucked. It just kind of sucked. So I just kept using Ice Beam. I hit it with a Surf there because I wanted to lower its health to the point where I could kill it in one with an Ice Beam, and that'd be okay. Luckily for me, this Pokemon knows Draco Meteor, which is a really good move, but lowers its attack, or its special attack, by a lot. So, when it hit me with one Draco Meteor, and then I just healed Mega Dude, and it was fine. And then I just kept, hitting it with the Ice Beams. But then again, my biggest problem here was running out of Ice Beams, because even though I had used 2 PP ups on Ice Beam, so I have 12 of them, and I have a Max Elixir, which I already used, this Salamence just kept healing itself, and it was incredibly annoying. But the interesting thing is, because this Salamence kept using rest, that it meant that what I could do is that every time it fell asleep, I could then heal all my Pokemon. Because the key to this battle, and the reason why I won it, is because I stocked up on items. And if you want to win this battle, you can't just take it head on. You need to get as many items as you can. You need to have all the hyper potions in the world. You need to have a load of revives. I also had 2 max revives, which came in useful during this battle. So every time it fell asleep, sometimes I just didn't attack it straight away. But now it came to the point where my Pokemon pretty much healed up. So I got a critical hit there, which was really nice. But now I'm playing the long ball. I'm playing the long game here because I realised that I think I used Feather Dance on this thing. So this Pokemon can't really do that much to me. Its best attack is Dragon Claw, but because I had used Feather Dance on it, it now can't. It's not doing that much damage to Mega Dude. So what I decided to do, because if I ran out of Ice Beams, then it was pretty much over. Because it knows Rest, and it would just continually use Rest. So my plan was to get it to a point where I kept using all my water type moves to slowly wear it down to the point where I would be able to use an Ice Beam and take it out. And this plan does eventually work, but yeah, it's a long term plan. And as you just saw there, I messed it up because Mega Dude got killed. But yeah, that was the overall plan here, because yeah, once again, just using Rest is because I think Rest is a move that you get 15 of, I want to say. So the chances of me actually wearing this thing down to the point where it was going to run out of Rests is really unlikely. And the problem is that when it goes to sleep, I can't kill it quick enough. I just simply don't have enough time. If Mega Dude's Ice Beam did like half damage, then I could just hit it with 2 Ice Beams and it'd be done. But it takes 3 Ice Beams to take this thing out, and I simply don't have like the time, or I don't have the time to kill it, because by the time I get it to the last hit, Lance either uses a full restore or it wakes up. Now obviously Lance is going to run out of full restores. You know, I'm going through this. This is all the stuff I was kind of thinking while doing this battle. Because honestly, this battle was a lot easier, but taking out the Salamence because of Rest was such a big deal, so I kind of had to come up with some sort of tactic. Because this was the first time doing this battle. I only actually had to do this once. It was my first attempt. And, you know, again, I'll say this again, but the only reason I won this is because of how many items I used. I mean, I did have plans, but all my tactics revolved around using items. Which, I mean, some people will kind of say like, oh, you didn't really do it, or it doesn't really count in the same way, but I think against AI you kind of do get a leniency against using items. So I hit it with an Ice Beam there. If I didn't get that critical hit, it wouldn't have died, so there was definitely some luck when it came to that fight right there. So I was really thankful for that. That could have gone on for a lot longer. But really, I just had to kind of be careful with my Ice Beams. I took a chance, it paid off, it probably shouldn't have done. So now we have this Pokemon, Altair, whatever it's called, which I had in Pokemon Emerald. It's a really good Pokemon, but it's a Dragon Flying type, so you can't just hit it with electric moves, because it will be normal effectiveness, and it has some really annoying attacks. So what I did, I sent out the Fluff anyway, because I thought, well, out of all my Pokemon, the Fluff probably does have the best chance here of taking this thing out. The problem is that it kept using Double Team. Now, I wasn't too worried about this, because every time it used Double Team, I just used Charge. And the reason why this is a good thing is because Charge increases my special defense, and all of its moves are, you know, special attacks. So as you just saw with the Dragon Breath, it did not do that much to me at all. So now it used Perish Song, which means that me and it are going to die in 3 moves unless one of us switches out, or unless you switch out. So I thought, well, I can try and do this. I can try and take this thing down, but I decided the best idea was to make sure my Pokemon were back in the game. Now, the reason why I used a max revive on E-Rock is because E-Rock knows Explosion, and that was kind of my backup here. Now, I knew that it was going to switch out, because Parashon kills your Pokemon if you don't switch out, but I knew Lance, he's the champion, he knows to keep, you know, he needs to keep his Pokemon in the game. So I knew his only Pokemon left was Charizard, so I switched out Mega Dude, and the problem is that Charizard is just really good. It's just really powerful. So I, you know, kept healing Mega Dude. I needed Mega Dude because of its water attacks, and I didn't really have anything else to use against it. I mean, I could use the Fluff, but I thought, it was worthwhile keeping Mega Dudes, you know, trying as hard as I could to use Mega Dude to take this thing down. And then once I hit it with that Hydro Pump, I then kind of realised that I did more than half health. Because that's what you kind of really gotta, that's what it comes down to when it comes to these like Elite Four champion battles. You gotta kind of plan it all. It's like, right, can I do half health to this thing? And if I can, how do I then use that to my advantage? You'll either have to one hit KO it, half health it, or come up with this like annoying tactic to try and take it down, like this long played out tactic. But luckily for me, it did half health damage or more than that, so I managed to eventually take it out. I sent in the fluff because I wanted to paralyze the thing, and also Thunderbolt is a good attack, and it uses a Perish Song. Really dumb idea, because I can switch out the fluff, but now at this point Lance can't switch out his Pokemon, so it's going to die. It just guaranteed its own death, which is good that it knows Perish Song, because this Pokemon would have been really annoying otherwise, but it's kind of hilarious that this is the way it went down. So of course I wanted the fluff to get the XP, you know, it earned it, you know, I'm proud of the fluff. So I switched in E-Rock because I don't know, I wanted E-Rock to get the XP as well. E-Rock is still only level 60. So it hits 0 and it's dead. So that's the end of that battle. So honestly, they're so much nicer than the original one. The original battle, due to that like block of Dragonites you have to take down, it's just so much harder. And even though Lance's Pokemon are like a big jump over the other two, or the other Elite Four members, it's such a big jump fighting the champion. As long as you're kind of smart about it, it's okay. And it is crucial you have a move that's good against Dragon types. Like, crucial. Again, I think that's the reason why I had such a bad time originally, because I didn't have a move that was good against Dragon types. And this time I did, so it didn't go swimmingly, but I still managed to do it. So with that, you go through the exact same things that you did before. You know, Mary, who I think you're supposed to know. At this point, she might have shown up during the main game. I can't remember. You know, it's been so long ago. It's part 50. It's, you know, that was a while ago. So yeah, it's exactly the same. I wish they would have done something a bit different. But really, you know, it's the same kind of deal. The only reason why it's here is to, you know, give you an extra challenge, because with like the third, I guess, or like, you know, because they like to have a lot of stuff that you can just do. And I think a lot of the Elite Four being, you know, having a new member of the Elite Four, or having them have more powerful Pokemon, is probably to help trainers train up their Pokemon to level 100. Because in the original games, you were never really supposed to hit level 100, or you had to be a complete obsessive mental case to get your Pokemon to level 100. Or you just cheated. But I think with these games and competitive battling, you're supposed to get to level 100, or it's meant to be like a realistic thing to have a, you know, a group of Pokemon, or your squad of Pokemon to all be at level 100 eventually. So, I mean, I won't be doing that. So yeah. So once again, you know, I get to see my team. I was thinking about switching out E-Rock for something, and I was, you know, semi-considering having the legendary Pokemon on, but I wanted to keep my squad the exact same squad that I had before, you know, because if I could do it then I wanted to show that I could kind of do it again. So yeah, so once again, Mr. Sublime didn't really come in handy. I think York was, I mean, Mega Dude was super handy for the champion battle, but York was just a really good Pokemon overall. I probably could have done a lot of it with just York. So yeah, I do like that image. That is a nice image to see. You know, me and all my cool Pokemon, apart from stupid E-Rock who hasn't evolved because he wants to go see another trainer to evolve. Oh, can't evolve with me. So yeah, with that, once again we get to see the credits, and I'm not going to stick around for this. Once again, I'm not going to stick around for it because I don't really want to give my thoughts to the game just yet, because this is not the final part. Even though I took on the champion than the last time, with how much stuff you can do in this game, it's not, yeah, this isn't the final part. So we get the exact same credits, they're, you know, charming as always. So yeah, join me next time where there are actually 2 more parts left. We have 1 more battle to do, and then I'm going to do an extra bonus part showing off stuff to do at the end of the game, because we're almost there. So yeah, so anyway, I've been HonestStorm23. Stick around for the credits if you want to see them again, but I'm off to go stare at a wall or whatever I do all day. So I've been HonestStorm23. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you for part 51.